You want them to know that you know where they are coming from. Like, hey, I know you were joking. I know you were giving me tough love. Hey, I know you came from a place where you care. That's why you said what you say and you do what you do. But this is not going to work for me. Explain that this is your new boundary. You are no longer the old person. And this is how you are living by. And you would like for them to acknowledge that. When you finish, let them talk. And when they explain themselves, don't interrupt. This is the power of dancing in a relationship with the right beat of the songs. Have you ever had one of those moments where you are in the middle of a conversation and you're supposed to speak up, speak your mind, but nothing came out? It was like cricket. And then later on, you get so mad at yourself. How did you just stay quiet? You're supposed to say something. So you start beating yourself up. You stay angry. Worse, you even cut off the other person. Blame them for not understanding you, not reciprocating your energy, your kindness, and your effort, or how good you are to them. This is not on them. This is on you. And I say it with love. You'll be like, what the Delilah? That doesn't make any sense. Keep watching. In today's video, I like to speak about how to have the hard conversation, when to speak up and when to walk away. How to speak up, or are you even in the position to speak up? Trigger warning. This is going to take a lot of self-reflection, and I know I may get a lot of thumbs down for this, but if you stay until the end of this video, I promise you will change your mind, and this will bring you to the next level of a person that you want to become. Because aren't you tired of always hold your word back and just afraid to speak up where you hurt your relationship, you hurt yourself, and you hurt the other person? It's time to face it. I know if you came across this video, you are ready to hear this. And before I tell you an example of what happened to me, I like for you to answer these questions and answer it very honest in your head. First one is, does this person matter to you? Second one is, if you don't speak up, will this continue to affect you? Will you still be bothered and bitter by it in the future? Third one is, do you still have to see them? Are they in your circle? Can you really cut them off? How do you feel if they still carry on with the thought of misunderstanding you because of the moment that you decided to stay silent, and they continue to hold on to that thought about you? Will you be able to act cool about this in the future? And then last question, can you really brush this under the rug? If any of the answer to these questions making you uncomfortable, it's time to shift the status. It's time to speak up even when your voice shakes. Now, if these answers don't bother you and you can just walk away, then yeah, continue doing whatever is best for you. But I believe that that's not the case. Otherwise, you won't be watching this video. And I know this is hard. Speaking up was one of the hardest challenge for me, as much as keeping my mouth shut too, because I love to talk and sometimes I overshare. So those are the two challenges. I think I got some challenges tongue that I was born with, but if I can overcome it, you can overcome it. And I promise it will get easier once you just open that can of warm. Just the first open, everything will come out after that. You will gain so much respect, not just from them, but from yourself to you. I have a story and it's kind of long, but I would try to make it as short as I can. During my chef day, I had a friend who came eat at my tasting event, and he's not used to going to Michelin star, so he doesn't understand how the kitchen really work in a fine dining restaurant. Okay, he owns a bar restaurant, but it's very different. It's very Vietnamese style, where chef would get yelled at left and right and demand stuff. So he needs to leave for the club with his girlfriend, and he was trying to rush me. And you know, a tasting menu that I'm serving 13 course, it's not going to be quick. It's not going to be 1 hour and a half, 2 hours, at least 2 hours and a half to 3 hours. If you go to a fancy restaurant, you understand. Everybody's enjoying the food, but he is in a rush to leave. He can just leave, but no. He walked up to me and he's pointing his watch like this. And he called my name and he said, hurry up, I need to go clubbing. Serve your next dish. I was in shock. I was so mad that I was shaking. I didn't know what to do. He talked to me like that in front of my team of 8-9 people. So at that moment, my ego was really, really, really angry. So I told him, just leave, And I don't remember what happened. I think he still stayed for the dessert and he left, but he was looking all angry and everything. But after he left, I had a conversation. Everyone left already. There was only one table, my close friend. And I went and expressed myself. And I was crying. I was sad because that person was my childhood friend. He's not just a customer. And for him to treat me like that, I felt very hurt, very disrespected. And when I was talking to people, they were all understanding and they were trying to comfort me. Keep in mind, I'm not complaining to anybody. These are my close friends. And one of the guy, however, he said something to me really hurtful. The next day, he messaged me on Messenger. He said, if you can't even handle that, what's the point of signing up for Master Chef? What's the point of even being a chef? You can't even handle a little bit of your emotion. I didn't talk to him for almost 2 years. Now we are in the same circle, so I still have to see him. Okay, I need to fix my headband, but I'll continue talking. So I had to continue seeing him, but I just kept myself very distant whenever I see him, and the relationship was not the same. I could not express how I feel to him. I felt like at that moment I need him to be compassionate with me. But I'll go detail into it later, because I did have a talk with him and now we are doing better than ever. And that's why I want to bring up this subject and talk to you about it. So I held the resentment for a very long time. On top of that, he was making a few rude jokes about my cats, something like, I'm gonna barbecue your cats. And I don't have kids, so my fur babies are my kid. And to me, when you make a joke like that, I don't think it's funny at all. I think it's very rude. How would you feel if I say I'm gonna barbecue your baby? Like, come on. But I just kept holding on to the resentment. So finally, July 4th just passed by and I did flower for his birthday party. His wife asked me and I helped. And then on top of that, he had a conversation with my partner the next day and say, what is she doing with her life? She doing so good with the chef business. So why now she want to be a speaker? Is she out of her mind? That was the last straw for me. I knew I had to say something and I cannot just keep living in the past and making excuses anymore. So before we get into the result of what happened, I like to talk to you about the position that you have to speak up or not, okay? Because this is very important. If you always trying to confront people, but you're not the one who is meeting your own standard, okay? For example, I know this couple who got married and all the bridesmaid and groomsmen, everybody bailed out at the last minute and they got really mad and they want to, confront these people. And me, I didn't understand much about the story. So I had a conversation with the bride and told her that you should confront people. But later on, when I start hanging out with her, I see how much of a taker she is. She is in no position to confront people. You ask these people and you expect them to go out their way for you. Ask yourself, have you ever go out your way for them? Once. Have you ever done anything besides just ask for favor and expect? If that's what you do, I'm sorry to say, people have the right to bail out if they don't feel like all their love or the relationship is being reciprocated. So ask yourself before you confront someone, are you in the position to? Are you even important to them? Because you cannot go around and act all entitled. The world owns you. That you need to check everybody so that they can act the way you want them to act. You need to give value to receive value. I'm gonna go to how to speak up and then I would end the video with the story of what happened after that. When I spoke to my friend, the one that I was upset at for years. Sorry, this video is like a lot of back and forth, but just hear me out. It's my own experience and I love to share. So this is how you're going to speak up. Before you have the conversation, I suggest to really sit down preparing for what you are going to say by writing everything down. Even practice speaking to yourself in the mirror and predict what they are going to answer next. In that way, you can prepare and have the answer back to them so that you don't get stuck in the same situation where nothing's coming out from your mouth when you really want to express yourself. Keep this in mind as much as you want to work things out, but it's not a one-way street. If the other person refuses to see your point of view, refuse to listen to you and let you express yourself, then it's really time for you to rethink, reconsider if you like to have them in your life. Now, I get it. It's not like we can just cut off anyone, especially if they are family or close friend or in the same circle, but you can always keep a distance and set a boundary. That way, you don't have to deal with them. There's no reason to try to keep convincing someone to listen to you or to see from your perspective if they are blindly believing in their own mind, black and white only. First, when you talk to them, you're going to express how you feel about the relationship, good side first, and gratitude. Be thankful for the relationship. And I learned this from a monk. This is not manipulation. This is just that you don't come into the story attacking someone. Nobody likes to be attacked the minute you sit down. Hey, sit down. I need to talk to you. Why you do this to me? Why you do that to me? No, you need to start the story with, hey, you're very important to me and I'm thankful for our friendship. We've been through a lot and we were really close at some point. This is part of my story that I'm sharing. But we got distant and I like to explain to you why. And then the person's gonna be, why, what's going on? And then you'll be, I'm telling you this, not coming from the point where I'm attacking you, but I like to explain to you about my perspective because I care about our relationship and I don't want to just keep ignoring it because you matter to me. Do you see what I mean? When you talk like that, people will take it very different. They will know that you come from a place where you care. You come from love. You're not here to trying to bring them down, to step on them, to sabotage them, to critique them. Because human nature is defensive. You don't want to come from the point that you are right and they are wrong, because wrong or right is depending on a person's perspective. For example, he might think that he talking about grilling my cat is just a joke and I'm the one who taking it too serious. I'm not saying he's right or he's wrong, but it's not the right for me. You see what I mean? Now, if he's a comedian, he can say that, but he's not. He's my friend, so don't say that to me. If he was on the stage and talking about that, and people would be laughing. It's not as wrong. And then second thing, you want them to know that you know where they are coming from. Like, hey, I know you were joking. Hey, I know you were giving me tough love. Hey, I know you came from a place where you care. That's why you said what you say and you do what you do. This is not going to work for me. And then explain that this is your new boundary. You are no longer the old person. And this is how you are living by nowadays, and you would like for them to acknowledge that. When you finish, let them talk, and when they explain themselves, don't interrupt, okay? Because this is the power of dancing in a relationship with the right beat of the songs, because you don't want to be push people. You let them talk. Then when it's your turn to talk, hopefully they're not going to cut you, but if they cut you, you can say, hey, I let you talk earlier. May I please finish what I have to say, what I started with? And next thing is be engaging. That means no phone, no distraction. Don't look around. Don't try to think of something else or what you gotta cook, what you gotta do tomorrow. Be fully there. If you're going to bring up a conversation and talk to someone, be respectful. They were there listening to you, so at least listen to what they have to say back. Don't be distracted. And then the next thing, ask them, how do you feel? How do you feel about me bringing this up to you? How do you feel about this situation? And listen, you don't have to agree with them, but understand where they're coming from. And then, very important step next, ask them to put themselves in your shoe. A lot of people are lack of emotional intelligence. And I'm not saying they're not smart, okay? My friends, some of them are so smart. They are the high rank in life with all professional occupation, but they are so lack of emotional intelligence. And the only way for them to understand where you are coming from is to put themselves in your shoes, because by then they're gonna be like, oh, okay, because otherwise they cannot relate to you. They just feel like you're acting emotional and you're being highly sensitive. So the example that I take was, do you remember your wife was crying on your wedding day and she threw a tantrum and wanted to call off the wedding because your father pissed her off? And then he said, yeah. And then I said, I was the bridesmaid. And if I was acting like how you were, judging instead of understand where she's coming from, and I would make the same statement only a little bit, and she can't even handle the emotion, she can't even control herself, how can she be in this marriage? This marriage is not gonna last. And I look at him directly in the eyes and I said, it's the exact thing you said to me when you said that I cannot go on MasterChef, I cannot be a chef if I continue being that way. You're holding on to an image of me. I'm no longer even that person. And guess what? You're happy with your wife right now. If I come from that judgmental place and I judge her like that, do you think it's fair for her? And he shook his head. So do you think it's fair for me? I don't cry anymore in the kitchen. Of course, there may be the moment, but I need to go through an experience like that so I can level up. So please understand where I'm coming from. Don't judge me already. And this is when he's like, okay, I get what you mean, and I apologize because sometimes I don't know how to shut off between being logical and I talk to my worker like that. And later on I told him, I'm not your worker, I'm your friend, I'm like a sister. So please treat me with respect. I don't work for you. I don't get money from you, you know? And then I said, you said something about me being a speaker. Do you know why I could not share with you about how I feel for the longest time? It's because I'm still holding on to the fact that you might judge me. And this is why I'm having a conversation with you right now, because I don't want us to have to go through the third person if we want to ask how the other person is doing and what are they up to with their career. And then he said, yeah, because I felt like you might be offended if I bring it up to you. And I'm like, I'm not going to be offended anymore because now we have this conversation and we are okay, we're good to go. And after that, we hug it out. So now it's like when I see him, there's no more awkward feeling. I can fully express myself. Yep. So that was my story, and I hope it's inspired you. And I have so many more stories. I'll make a part 2, part 3 if you want, where I finally just learned to confront people, including my in-laws, my close friends. And it seems so smooth and easy to them, but it took me days and nights of practice, of sleepless night, trying to form the words so that I don't hurt the other person. You know, you can be direct, you can speak your mind, but you need to learn not to hurt the other person. And this is a skill that you should be very proud of if you are practicing. Don't be thinking that you are people pleasing by trying to adjust your words, okay? The ability of adjusting, that making people want to open to you, want to listen to you. It's a skill set that is not easy to hone, and it took me years. So I hope after this video, you got this. I believe in you. Subscribe, like, and leave in the comment section. Let me know what you think. If you like this video, watch this one next. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.